Hello students of grade 10. My name is Ms. Nisha Bamfi. Welcome to another series on industries, focusing on businesses. This is your Principles of Business lesson for today. Our objectives are to define a small business and to outline the functions of a small business. Small business is defined as a privately owned corporation, partnership, or sole proprietorship that has fewer employees and less annual revenues than a corporation or regular-sized business. International Revenue Services, such as the IRS, define a small business in standard to be 500 employees or less, generally, and is dependent on individual tax laws statutes. A small business is an independently owned and operated company that is limited in size and in revenue depending on the industry. A small business can be determined as 1. A handyman, 2. Woodworker, 3. Online dating consultant, 4. Sewing and alteration specialist, 5. Freelance developer, 6. Personal trainer, 7. Freelance graphic designer, and 8. Life career coach. There are many others. According to the IRS, there are 5 business structures to choose from. 1. Sole proprietorship, 2. Partnership or general limited or limited liability partnerships, 3. Limited liability companies, 4. Corporations, and 5. S corporation. According to the Small Business Administration, business structure popularity varies based on how many, if any, employees you have. The majority being 86.4% of non-employer businesses structured as sole proprietorship. Keep in mind that you can also be a sole proprietor with employees. S corps or S corporations make up the majority of 47.3% of small employer businesses. Although the definition of small employer varies by industry, small employers are generally businesses with 500 employees or less. However, some companies can have up to 1,500 employees and still be considered small, according to the Small Business Administration. When it comes to large employers, the majority structure as corporations takes 75.9%. Using the Small Business Administration size standards, large employer classification depends on the industry. Now, based on the explanation just given and the percentages, here is the graph to represent what I've just outlined. What are 5 features of a small business? Small-scale businesses display a distinct set of identifying characteristics that set them apart from their large competitors. These are lower revenue and profitability, smaller teams of employees, small market area, sole or partnership ownership and taxes, limited area of fewer locations. Lower revenue and profitability. Small-scale businesses' revenue is generally lower than companies that operate on a larger scale. The Small-Scale Business Administration classifies small businesses as companies that bring in less than a specific amount of revenue, depending on the business type. Lower revenue does not necessarily translate into lower profitability. Established small-scale businesses often own their facilities and equipment, which, in addition to other factors, helps to keep costs lower than more leveraged businesses. Smaller teams of employees. Small-scale businesses employ smaller teams of employees than companies that operate on larger scales. The smallest businesses are run entirely by single individuals or small teams. A larger small-scale business can often get away with employing fewer than 100 employees depending on the business type. Small market area. Small market businesses serve a much smaller area than corporations or larger private businesses. The smallest scale businesses serve single communities, such as a convenience store in a rural township. The very definition of small scale prevents these companies from serving areas much larger than a local area, since growing beyond that would increase the scale of a small business's operations and push it into a new classification. Sole or partnership ownership and taxes. The corporate form of business organization is not well suited to small scale operations. Instead, small scale businesses prefer to organize as sole proprietorship, partnerships, or limited liability companies. These forms of organizations provide the greatest degree of managerial control for company owners, while minimizing the hassle and expense of business restrictions. These businesses generally do not file their own taxes. Instead, company owners report business income and expenses on their personal tax returns. Limited area of fewer locations. A small-scale business, by definition, can be found only in a limited area. These companies are not likely to have sales outlets in multiple states or countries. For example, a large number of small-scale businesses operate from a single office, retail store, or service outlet. It is even possible to run a small business directly out of your home without any company facilities. Question. Small business government requirements are tax registration, business licensing, securities registration, federal contractor registration, and size restrictions. True or false? This is true. Small businesses often enjoy relaxed regulation to help them stay competitive. This does not mean that small businesses do not have to comply with federal, state, and local government requirements. This compliance with government requirements ensures that the business is protected from being fined or otherwise penalized for doing business without proper licensing and registration. Functions of a small business. Outsourcing allows you to get more done and trust important tasks and processes to professionals without having to actually grow your full-time team in a significant way. The functions of a small business are accounting. Accounting is one of the most common areas where small businesses choose to outsource. If you are not a financial expert, then it can take a lot of time and skills to learn all the processes and compliance standards your company must meet. Marketing. When it's time to grow your business, an outside marketing firm can help you do it quickly. They can take the ad design, content creation, and social media posting off your plate so you can focus on the internal functions of your business. Sales. Similarly, your company might not have the personnel or expertise to make sales calls or set up funnels and processes geared toward closing deals. By outsourcing to sales firms or professionals, you can hand those tasks over to skilled individuals who will bring in more business. IT management. It is one of the largest outsourcing industries around. In fact, the global market for outsourced IT services reached 85.6 billion this year. You can outsource to a managed service provider or work with a firm that offers on-demand assistance to handle any tech issues or initiative you may have. Administrative tasks. Virtual assistants are becoming more and more common, especially for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs who work out of home office. There are VAs who can handle everything from inbox management and scheduling to social media posting. Customer service. For businesses that deal with customers mainly online or over the phone, you can outsource your customer service strategy to an outside call center or chat service. To do this, you first need to have processes in place and make sure you provide clear instructions to the company that will be dealing directly with your customers. Manufacturing. Setting up a dedicated manufacturing facility can be quite costly for a small business. That's why so many product sellers choose to outsource this step. You don't necessarily need to offshore this process either. Shipping and logistics. Additionally, you can actually have your manufacturing facility or a separate drop shipping service handle the shipping and handling of your products directly to customers. This is a popular function for e-commerce sellers that want to really focus on the online and marketing aspects of their businesses. Research. There is always something to learn about customers or the business industry. Whether thinking about launching a new product or considering expanding into new market, proper research is key. To reduce the number of days or weeks surveying target audiences or buried under tons of online content, outsource this step to a research firm. Human resources. Human resources encompasses any task in the business related to hiring, onboarding, or managing the team. The most common type of outsourcing in this area is working with a recruiting service to attract qualified candidates for a new position. Question. As a small business, outsourcing allows an entrepreneur to get more done for less, trust important tasks and processes to professionals, spend little to nothing on training without having to grow the full-time team in a significant way. This is correct. If these were your options, then you are in order. It allows you to keep costs under control, increase efficiency, and focus on the parts of the business that brings fulfillment, builds one's technical and professional skill sets. Students, we have come to the end of today's lesson. Here is your exercise to be completed in your notebooks. You are the owner of a small manufacturing company. Your company is thinking of expanding to a partnership business. A. Outline 3 government regulations that your company must follow. B. What new legal procedure must your organization follow to change the registration? My name is Miss Nisha Banfield, and thank you for having me.